Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take the densest, most fascinating ideas and give you the fast track to being truly well-informed.
Today, we are really strapping in for a ride.
We're heading into a cosmological, spiritual, and geophysical journey that sees the history and future of Earth through a truly unique lens.
Absolutely. We're dealing with a text that fuses, ancient philosophy with these incredibly precise, if, let's say, unconventional physical predictions about the planet right beneath our feet.
Exactly. This isn't just an analysis. It's more like an intellectual exercise in understanding a holistic worldview where your personal ethics, your choices dictate the literal shape of the globe.
It's a huge concept to wrap your head
It
around.
is. Okay, let's unpack this. Our entire discussion today is drawn from a single, and I have to say, profoundly compelling source.
Tough one.
Chapter 17, titled Earth Prediction for Future, which is found within the book The Legend Mind, Zero to Infinity. Our mission today is to go deep, to guide you through the author's argument, line by line, almost like watching a movie of a complex idea unfold.
I like that framing. A movie style look at this.
Exactly. We will dissect their claims about Earth's changing shape, the current turbulent state of human existence, which they call the zero era, and this really dramatic prediction for our orbital future.
The part that suggests our year is about to get 5 days shorter.
Right. It's a massive, unified look at cosmic time, physics, and human accountability, all drawn from this one single chapter.
And that context you mentioned it's absolutely foundational because we are dealing with a source that really from the outset establishes its own rules.
It builds its own universe of logic.
It really does. The material is written by Elton Elskar, that's SKR, also known as Sonu Kumar, but he goes by the name Legend.
Legend, in all
Yeah,
caps.
in all caps. And crucially, the philosophy underpinning the entire work is rooted in a deeply spiritual foundation that, it dictates the tone, the logic, and all of the conclusions that are drawn.
So tell us more about that foundation, because I think it really sets the stage for why this book is making predictions that cross so many different disciplinary boundaries.
It absolutely does. The book is dedicated quite explicitly to the author's immortal guru, the Lord Shiva.
Okay.
And this isn't just some casual acknowledgement in the front of the book. It frames the entire intellectual endeavor as a spiritual quest, a quest for ultimate truth.
So what sparked this monumental undertaking? I mean, it wasn't derived from a traditional academic path, from what I understand.
Not at all, correct. The author attributes the inspiration for this pursuit of knowledge to watching Lord Shiva's role on television.
On television?
Yes, and this viewing experience inspired the author to adopt a lifestyle of what he terms zero attraction of the world.
Zero attraction. What does that mean in practice?
It means preferring to live alone, to pursue these curious questions, as he calls them, without the distraction of, worldly desires or attachments. This pursuit of zero attraction is absolutely key to understanding the ethical framework he later applies to the entire planet.
It really does set the stage for everything that follows. The idea that a kind of detachment leads to a profound universal insight.
Yes.
The author also provides a pretty powerful definition for his chosen moniker, legend, right up front.
He does. And it's presented after this motto that precedes a lot of the text, JIGURUDEV.
Okay.
And then the specific meaning of the name legend itself is presented as an acronym. It's essentially the book's moral code.
And it stands for?
It stands for legacy, E, even, G, God, E, N, not D, demons.
Legacy, even God, and not demons.
Mm-hmm.
I find this absolutely fascinating. Let's pause here for a second, because this acronym isn't just a cool title. It feels like a thesis statement.
It is a thesis statement.
Legacy, even God, ends, not demons. What is the author communicating to you, the listener, with that structure?
Well, it signals immediately that this work operates at the absolute highest metaphysical and ethical level. The author is placing the concept of legacy, the lasting positive or negative impact of your actions, above everything else.
Even above God.
Even above God in this phrasing. The phrase is structured to emphasize that though all earthly and even divine aspects might have a beginning and an end, the spiritual force of negative actions, which he calls demons, does not get to dictate the final outcome.
So it's not about a final battle between good and evil, necessarily.
Not in a simple way. Instead, it's the conscious moral force of a person's legacy that truly matters. It links personal virtue, or the lack of it, directly to cosmic structure and duration. If you want to be a legend, you have to focus on your moral legacy.
That immediately establishes that this is a system where your personal conduct directly influences cosmic truths. which is exactly where Chapter 17 is going to take us.
Hmm.
The preface reinforces this. It describes the book as eye-opening for those seeking to do great work via mind power, wisdom, or enlightenment.
And critically, the author is not satisfied with operating in just a single comfortable domain.
No.
They follow a highly interdisciplinary approach, using science, mathematics, religious concepts, idioms, physics, what he calls numberology, cosmology, and geography to address these really striking questions that arose from his deep reflection.
It's like an intellectual fusion project.
It is. It's aimed at creating a single, unified theory of everything, but seen through this very specific ethical and spiritual filter.
Now, to truly appreciate the audacity of Chapter 17, we need to quickly locate it within the author's broader structural framework. You mentioned it's divided into these distinct philosophical units.
That's right. The legend builds his knowledge base very systematically. It's like climbing a ladder. Unit 0, for instance, focuses entirely on legend's self-improvements.
Okay, so that's the starting point.
That is the foundational base. It deals with the mind, what he calls the ladder toward wisdom, attitude, and this crucial distinction between information versus knowledge.
It sounds almost like a prerequisite course. Like, you can't start asking the big cosmological questions until you've tuned your own instrument first, your mind and your soul.
That's a perfect way to put it. This Unit 0 preparation ensures the self is ready. It's all internal growth, focused on self, soul, and mind awareness.
Then we move to Unit 1, which the author calls the observational unit, or 10 Shades of the Legend. This unit takes that internal wisdom you've gained in Unit 0 and applies it to how one should navigate the world and observe society.
And what's fascinating here is
Yeah.
just this unique structuring of the material. Unit 1 is essentially a field guide for living.
The field guide.
Yeah, it's based on adopting the best psychological and behavioral models from different walks of life. The author lays out these specific virtues or behavioral models, instructing the reader how to, for example, view like a kid, think like a monk, speak like a politician, or worship like a devotee.
So it's about leveraging the optimal attitude inherent in each of those professions or roles for better understanding.
Exactly. It's a very pragmatic, wisdom-seeking approach. Don't just be one thing. Be able to observe and internalize the useful perspective of many different types of people.
And all of that leads us directly to Unit 2.
Yes. Unit 2, the legend Unique Questions, is essentially the application phase. And that's where our chapter 17, resides.
So this is the result of combining that self-soul and mind awareness from Unit 0 with a keen understanding of how the real world operates from Unit 1.
Correct. The author states that these aren't just his random inquiries either. He calls them world-demanded questions that require a solution.
And these questions span the cosmos. I mean, they're foundational puzzles that legend believes are necessary for humanity to solve to achieve enlightenment.
Precisely. They include things we might expect from cosmology, like the value of infinity, the origin of universe. But he has his own names for these.
Right.
He calls his origin theory the I theory.
Yeah, I theory.
And he even has a theory for the parallel universe, which he names the bead theory.
Let's pause for a second on those two I theory and bead theory. Does the author offer a conceptual framework for these, even if they aren't detailed in Chapter 17? Because for a listener, those names are, they're tantalizing but very abstract.
They are very abstract, but the source uses those names as powerful, simplifying images. The I theory seems to suggest the universe originated from a single point of observation or consciousness, the I, that then expanded outward.
So a conscious Big Bang, in a way.
You could see it that way. And the bead theory suggests that parallel universes aren't continuous overlapping realities, but perhaps discrete, separate entities, like beads strung on a line. It's a common metaphysical concept, but he makes it very visual.
Okay, so Chapter 17, Earth Prediction for Future, sits right within this context of high-stakes cosmological inquiry, connecting human behavior to these vast universal concepts.
That's right.
But before we jump into the predictions themselves, the author gives a very important disclaimer about how he presents these ideas in Unit 2, and I think this is essential for the listener to grasp.
It's a very distinctive rhetorical device.
He states that he gives these questions in a rough way or big picture, not in perfect way.
And that's not an apology. It's a core part of his method. This is a distinctive approach, rather than, claiming definitive proof for everything.
So what's the implication of that? Why present it in a rough way?
The implication is that this rough outline is done intentionally to prompt wider engagement. He says it allows many more person from different profession, and he specifically names scientists, astrologers, mathematicians, numerologists, and computer engineers.
A very broad group.
A very broad group to work smart on this question for better knowledge and to get perfect results.
So he's not presenting the final destination. He's presenting a map.
A map, exactly. It's an intellectual prompt for collaboration. He is essentially saying, I have discerned the ultimate questions and the general direction of the answer. Now, the world's experts must collaborate to refine the details.
That sets the stage for a kind of global cooperation on foundational truths, unifying all these diverse fields under a common philosophical framework.
That's the idea. The spiritual foundation of legend provides the framework, and then the various professional fields are invited to provide the empirical and mathematical tools to finalize the answers. It's truly an invitation to a massive interdisciplinary collaboration.
And now, with that massive context established, we can finally take that deep swim into Chapter 17 itself, which starts with a massive and I would say controversial claim about the Earth's original physical state.
Indeed. Chapter 17 begins by acknowledging the present reality. The current Earth shape is geoid.
Okay, and for the listener who may not be familiar with that term, geoid just means Earth-shaped. It's basically a sphere that's slightly flattened at the poles and bulges at the equator.
Right, it reflects the gravitational effects of Earth's rotation and its uneven mass distribution. It's the standard model.
It's the shape we've all been taught is the natural, inevitable form of a spinning planet.
But the legend immediately challenges this idea. Right away, he posits that the Earth's original shape at the time of formation, what he calls primordial time, was not geoid.
Oh, so why?
It was completely spherical, a perfect sphere.
So the geoid shape, the slightly squashed sphere we know, is not natural in this view. It's an acquired deformation.
An acquired deformation, yes. And the author then provides the mechanism for why this structural change occurred, laying the blame squarely on humanity.
He attributes this change to a single fundamental difference between us and the rest of the animal kingdom.
Yes. The wants of humans versus the wants of creatures.
And what is that difference, according to him?
It's the difference between limited and unlimited desires. He says creatures' wants are inherently limited. They're primarily focused on survival, on instinct, on immediate needs within the environment. They operate within a natural, sustainable cycle.
Okay, that makes sense. Eat, sleep, reproduce.
But humans' wants are described as unlimited. It is this unbound desire, this relentless drive for more, for change, for consumption that gives us the unique ability to fundamentally change the environment and eventually the structural shape of the planet itself.
That is a radical concept, that our ethical, emotional, and social desires can translate directly into geophysical deformation.
It's a huge leap.
We really need to go movie style on his core analogy to truly grasp this. He gives us this vivid comparison using a simple room to illustrate the difference between limited and unlimited impact.
Let's visualize that analogy clearly because it's central to the whole chapter. Scenario 1. We take an average room in a house and we allow creatures, let's imagine, a variety of animals, insects, maybe some rodents, to live there for 1 year.
Okay, I'm picturing it. It's not going to be pretty.
No. What is the author's observation? The room will certainly be filled with dust, waste, and general mess made by the creatures. But, and this is crucial, the physical shape and size of the room remain the same. The structure is unaltered.
Their activity is fundamentally additive. They add mess to the room.
Exactly. They may dirty the house, but they don't remodel the foundation.
Okay, so that's the creatures.
Precisely. Now, we switch to scenario 2. You allow 2 or 3 humans in that same single room for 1 year. What is observed here?
Well, you'd hope it's cleaner.
And the author says, first, yes, the humans will actually make the room neat and clean. They organize, they innovate, they apply intelligence to their surroundings.
Yeah.
But, and here's the killer distinction, they're also able to change the shape and size of the room according to their desire.
They want to change the room structure.
Exactly. Maybe they install a bookshelf by drilling into the wall. Perhaps they knock down a small partition to create an open plan space. Or they change the load-bearing beams to make the room bigger.
That's a profound observation. It suggests that human interaction, even when we're aiming for neat and clean efficiency or organization, inherently leads to structural alteration.
Our unlimited wants translate into a drive to physically remodel. Unlike creatures whose messy activities don't threaten the foundational structure.
This is the core claim, then. The human drive isn't satisfied merely with using the environment, it must reshape it.
It must conquer and reconstruct. That is the force that acts on the planet.
So now we apply this analogy to the largest scale possible. The Earth is considered a megaroom.
A megaroom, yes.
And if we allow humans and creatures to live together in this megaroom over a long period, the observation is clear. Only humans are able to change the shape and size of Earth.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the cumulative impact of human unlimited wants is literally altering the foundational structure of the planet. It's shifting it away from its original spherical perfection into this distorted geoid shape.
The geoid is the scar.
The geoid is the scar left by humanity's collective design.
And the text doesn't just leave it there. It meticulously lists the specific human activities that are causing this change. It paints a picture of relentless structural degradation driven by desire, not just necessity. We are talking about forces that act like chisels on the planet's original sphere.
Absolutely. The list is comprehensive, and it's worth going through.
Let's do it.
First, he says, daily, unnecessary activities. This is anything driven by want rather than need. Think consumerism, fashion, hobbies that require massive resource extraction.
Right, not just survival. Then, second, massive construction projects, skyscrapers, dams, cities, where we change the load distribution on the crust.
Third, the systematic exploitation of Earth through deep mining. This removes internal mass and creates these huge voids, which fundamentally alters the planet's density in that area.
Fourth, aggressive deforestation, which changes the surface structure, the hydrology, the weight of biomass on a continental scale.
Fifth, and this is a big one, the large-scale horrors of warlike world war activities.
He's not just talking about the human cost.
No, he's talking about the physical impact. Massive explosions, the physical relocation of materials from bombs, trench warfare, literally carving up the planet.
And finally, the resulting climatic change, which he says further destabilizes the surface structure through erosion, sea level rise, and so on.
Exactly.
What's so critical here is that the author doesn't see pollution or carbon output as the only problem or even the main one. It's the physical manipulation.
Yes.
The structure we change when we mine or build or bomb that is literally tugging the planet out of its spherical alignment.
It's the difference between messing up a room, like the creatures did, and altering its foundations, like the humans.
This framing makes humanity not just a resident, but a disruptive geological force, one that has literally misshapen its home over eras.
And this negative deformation, however, sets the stage for a dramatic and, frankly, violent correction, which the author calls the Zero Era.
Okay, so we've established the wound, the geoid shape caused by our unlimited wants. Now we move to the healing phase. The author tells us, quote, "Today we all live in Zero Era."
And while the Zero Era is discussed in more technical detail in another chapter on the basic humankind Earth calendar, here in chapter 17, the author reveals its ultimate physical purpose.
Which is?
The Zero Era is known for the change of Earth's shape back to its original spherical form. It is the time of necessary planetary restoration.
This must be an era of immense upheaval. I mean, if it requires reversing the damage of countless generations of unlimited human wants, that can't be a gentle process.
It is not. And the author connects this physical process directly to larger cosmological and religious concepts. He identifies this Zero Era as the fifth era in Hindu mythology.
Okay.
He says it marks a critical transition point where one negative era end and next positive era is about to start as positive Kali Yuga.
So the Zero Era isn't just a measurement of time, it's a cosmic reset button. It's a spiritual cleansing that is tied directly to a physical geological event, moving us from a negative age toward a positive Kali Yuga.
Exactly. And this return to the original spherical shape, the healing process, is explained through a second, equally vivid analogy.
The accident analogy.
The accident analogy. Let's imagine a person falling in a bike accident, resulting in many wounds and cuts.
Okay, you can visualize that moment, the trauma, the blood, the physical distortion of the body's, perfect form.
The doctor treats the person with medicine and bandages, aiming for health. But the key mechanism of recovery, according to this analogy, is that the body itself starts to recover its own new skin from bloody wound.
So the doctor assists the process, but the body possesses the innate intelligence and power to self-heal.
That's the key. The doctor, or perhaps the divine mechanism, is merely facilitating the planet's own inherent drive toward perfection.
The application to Earth is direct then. The Earth is now recovering its own original spherical shape.
The geoid shape is the wound, and the healing process is characterized by destructive natural phenomena that destroy the current corrupted landforms created by humans.
The Earth is shedding the bad skin.
The bad skin. The structural alterations imposed by human desire. The text is very, very clear that these destructive natural phenomena are the mechanisms of Earth's self-recovery. They act as the planet's medicine and new skin.
I have to ask, for a work that links morality so directly to physics, why does the author mandate that this planetary healing has to be so violent? Couldn't the return to the sphere be a more gradual, subtle process?
That's a crucial point, and the author implies that the correction must match the severity of the deformation. Because humanity used large-scale, often violent activities like mining and World War to create the geoid shape, the counterforce has to be equally powerful.
An equal and opposite reaction, in a sense.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
The list of recovery events is highly destructive. Large-scale earthquakes, landslides, volcanoes, flash floods, and a large number of hurricanes and cyclones.
These aren't gentle processes.
Not at all. These phenomena are designed to quickly undo the physical changes. They're meant to return the material that was inappropriately moved or accumulated back to its original position or state.
Yeah.
They are designed to flatten structures, fill in mines, and redistribute mass violently.
So this positions us right in the center of the planet's painful but necessary rehabilitation. It makes every major natural disaster we see on the news a symptom of planetary self-correction, not just random chaos.
And the intensity of these events reflects the magnitude of the human-caused deformation.
The Zero Era, therefore, is an extremely high-stakes period. It's the moment the planet pushes back, purging the physical manifestation of our unlimited wants to return to that primordial sphere.
Precisely.
Now, as if changing the shape of the entire planet wasn't dramatic enough, the author takes a prediction one step further. He links this shape change directly to the mechanics of orbital movement.
This is where the synthesis of physics and metaphysics really reaches its peak.
The structural change in the Earth is predicted to have a measurable impact on its revolution around the Sun. The physical consequences of our wants become astronomical.
Absolutely. The ultimate prediction is that, in the future, the Earth will take 360 days to complete its revolution around the Sun.
Reduced from the current 365 days. That's a fundamental 5-day calendar shift based purely on the planet's structural recovery.
And the logic the author provides for why we have a 365-day year now is key to understanding this.
Okay, what's his logic?
He asserts that the current longer revolution is attributed to the more mass of Earth accumulated because of human long-time activity.
More mass.
Think about the cumulative impact of all that material moved during construction, mining, and the building of vast civilizations over thousands of eras, all of it adding slight yet measurable mass and density in unnatural locations, particularly away from the center of gravity.
So the argument is that the irregular geoid shape, which was caused by human activity, creates a less efficient, longer orbit. The accumulated non-natural mass essentially slows the planet down slightly or forces it into a less perfect path.
Precisely. As the Earth recovers its original spherical shape, by shedding the unnecessary landforms and structures via earthquakes, volcanoes, and floods, its effective mass distribution is centralized.
It becomes more balanced.
More balanced, and the total accumulated structural mass is reduced. This reduction in effective mass and the return to a perfect sphere leads to the 360-day duration.
The change in shape allows for a faster, more perfect revolution. This is a complete merger of physics and morality. It suggests that our moral corruption physically slows down the cosmic clock.
And the significance of the 360-day orbit goes beyond just basic physics. The text emphasizes that the completion of the revolution in the shape of a perfect circle also indicates the era of the Zero Era, of the long timeline of the universe.
So the return to the spherical form is mirrored by the return to a more perfect circular orbit. It symbolizes cosmic harmony. Here's where it gets really interesting, because the author then explicitly places humanity within this massive cosmic clock. He says, we all, as human, live in the center of universe timeline.
And being at the center, or the pivotal point, the Zero Era, is not a time of calm prosperity.
Yeah.
It is a time of immense destructive change. This means seeing lots of destructions of assets and life of living being. He says the present moment, which he identifies as the present digital era, is synonymous with this high-intensity Zero Era.
The word zero implies the starting point, or the pivot point, It's the disruptive transition period where the scales are balanced and the past is erased so the future can begin.
Mhm.
And the author doesn't shy away from the ethical or, religious implications of who will survive this pivot point.
No, he leans right into it. From a religious point of view, the natural disasters during this zero era serve a form of divine correction or perhaps a massive, inevitable karmic balancing act.
The destruction isn't random.
It's not random, it acts as a selective filter.
How does that filter function, according to the legend?
The text asserts that those who performed bad deeds in their lives, those who lived purely by unlimited wants and contributed to the geoid deformation,
The people who changed the room.
the people who changed the room, they will face bad outcomes as part of death during these natural disasters. The violence of nature is, in this view, directed toward those whose actions created the violence against nature.
So, just to make that concrete, if you were a mine owner whose unlimited want led to deep destructive exploitation, the resulting earthquake or landslide is your direct karmic consequence.
That is the direct implication. Conversely, the text states that only those persons who have done good deed in their lives will live on Earth. They'll be spared by the Earth's natural disaster mechanisms, the earthquakes, floods, landslides, hurricanes, and so on.
The natural world is, in this model, an instrument of moral judgment.
A completely impartial physical instrument of moral judgment.
It's a cosmic filter applied through geological forces. And this brings us right back full circle to the foundation of the book.
To the LEGEND acronym.
Right. Which emphasizes legacy and ethical conduct above all else.
Precisely. And the legend's specific and powerful call to action, which is addressed directly to you, the listener, flows logically from this prediction.
It has to.
Given that we are living in this perilous zero era, witnessing the planetary's self-correction, the suggestion is clear and urgent. It is time to change oneself from negative activity.
And the imperative isn't just self-improvement in isolation, is it? It's a global, outward-focused mission.
It has to be. The mission is to spread positivity around the world for best life. If unlimited wants deform the planet, then limited, positive, altruistic actions are the only way humanity can align itself for the planetary healing process.
Now, what's the ultimate goal?
The ultimate monumental goal set by the legend is to build heaven in the earth.
Wow.
The entire cosmological prediction, the geoid distortion, the destructive recovery, the 360-day orbit, it all funnels down into this single ethical responsibility for every individual, to shift from unlimited want to positive contribution.
It connects your personal morality directly to planetary mechanics. It's arguing that your daily choices, your unlimited wants, have collectively created the geoid shape, and only a widespread positive change can harmonize humanity with the Earth's natural return to perfection.
It's a staggering level of personal and collective responsibility.
So what does this all mean? Let's try to pull it all together. We started with the unique philosophical premise of the author, inspired by Lord Shiva and a life of zero attraction. And we followed a detailed argument that sees human unlimited wants as a geological force, literally deforming the Earth from a perfect sphere into the geoid shape we see today.
We then dove deep into the zero era, which is simultaneously this spiritual cleansing, the end of a negative era and the start of the positive Kali Yuga, and a violent physical recovery period.
Right, a recovery marked by massive natural disasters acting as the planetary equivalent of new skin replacing a wound.
And finally, we saw the culmination of this recovery, a physical change in mass and shape that is so fundamental it reduces our orbital period from 365 days to a perfect 360 days.
Signifying the return to a perfect celestial geometry.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it means taking the warning of the zero era, this time of necessary destruction and recovery, and applying that suggested change towards spreading global positivity.
And the chapter achieves this really unique synthesis. It combines physics, the relationship between mass, shape, and orbital duration, with metaphysics, the concept of the zero era, and the impact of individual karma, to present a holistic argument about humanity's role.
And the core insight, the thing that sticks with you.
The core insight remains that radical idea that human unlimited wants, through mining, construction, and war, are physically deforming the planet, and that nature's violent correction is the inevitable path back to its original spherical form.
It challenges our whole perception of progress and our impact on our surroundings. We think we are making things cleaner and better, like humans in the room analogy.
Right.
But according to this thesis, we are fundamentally corrupting the structural integrity of our home, and the planet is now fighting back.
It forces us to reconsider the simple definition of want versus need.
It really does. It forces us to ask a difficult question, which is what we'd like to leave you with.
Hmm.
If, as the legend suggests, our present digital age is truly the center of the universe timeline leading to this destruction and recovery, what specific unnecessary activity in our own lives are we engaging in that might be contributing to the geoid shape of our personal immediate world?
And on the other side of that coin, what would our dedicated good deed look like if we were trying to build heaven in the earth, starting today?
Something profound to ponder as we continue through this intense zero era. That was the deep dive. We'll see you next time.